The human boy sat quietly near the engine bay, pretending to read a data tablet. But his eyes kept drifting toward the far end of the room where the alien girl stood. She was fixing a power relay, her long silver hair tied back, her bright blue skin glowing faintly in the ship's soft light. He wasn't used to being around aliens, especially not ones like her. She was tall, graceful, and always moved with confidence. Her name was Gila, a young engineer from the peaceful planet Arvanar. She had joined the joint mission to repair a damaged station orbiting a dying star, and somehow he was assigned to work with her. He had no idea how to talk to her. Whenever she looked his way, his face got warm and his stomach twisted. When she spoke to him, he answered in short, awkward replies. He wasn't trying to be rude. He was just nervous. Gila had started to notice his strange behavior. At first, she thought maybe humans didn't like her kind, but that didn't match what she had read in the galactic files. Humans were known for being curious, warm, and open. But this one? He barely made eye contact. Finally, after 3 days of working in silence together, Gila decided to ask. "You keep avoiding my eyes," she said, turning around and wiping her hands on a cloth. "You barely speak to me unless I ask a question." He looked up quickly, surprised. "Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to be rude." Gila tilted her head. "Is that why you're acting strange, human? Is it something about me?" He stood up and scratched the back of his neck. "No, it's not that. It's complicated." Gila's expression turned curious. "Then explain." "I am listening." He hesitated. How could he explain that he didn't know how to act around someone like her? She was beautiful in a way he couldn't describe. Her voice was soft but strong. Her hands knew machines better than most of his teachers. And she smiled with a kindness that made his heart skip. "I just don't want to say the wrong thing," he said finally. "I don't know how to talk to you." "Why not?" "Because you're different," he replied. Not in a bad way, just new, unfamiliar. Gila smiled gently. "Many have called me different before, but usually not with such nervous eyes." He gave a weak chuckle. "You noticed that, huh?" "Yes," she said, stepping closer. "We're the first human I have worked with. I expected curiosity, maybe even questions. But instead I got silence. I began to think maybe I did something wrong." He shook his head. I just didn't know how to begin." She thought for a moment, then sat down across from him. "Then let us begin now. Tell me something about your home." He blinked. "Like what?" "Anything. Something you miss." "Just a little. I miss the wind. On Earth, there's this place near my home, big green hills. When the wind blows, the grass waves like water. I used to lie there and just listen." Gila closed her eyes for a moment. "We have something similar. Our fields grow tall, silver petals. When the wind passes through them, they make a soft sound like a song." He looked at her, surprised. "Really? That sounds amazing." "It is," she said. "I miss it too." For the first time, silence settled between them, not heavy or awkward, but calm. Then Gila asked with a small grin, "So, if it's not something I said or did, is it the bulge between my shoulders that's got you rattled, human?" He blinked, confused for a second, then saw her gesture to the small ridge on her upper back, an Arvanari trait, part of their anatomy that stored energy. He laughed, shaking his head. No, he said, smiling now. "Honestly, I think that part's pretty cool. It glows when you concentrate, right?" She nodded. "Yes, it helps us power tools during emergency repairs." He leaned forward. "More comfortable now? See? That's awesome. I'm just awkward." "It's not you," Sheila's grin widened. "Then we'll work on that together. Maybe one story at a time." And just like that, the wall between them began to crack. The human boy stopped pretending to read his tablet. The alien girl stopped wondering why he acted so cold. From that day, they started sharing stories during breaks. He spoke of oceans and cities. She spoke of sky gardens and crystal caves. And slowly, without even realizing it, something warm began to grow between them. A quiet connection that neither of them fully understood yet, but both wanted. to explore. The next day, the ship shook slightly as it moved through the asteroid belt. Alarms didn't ring, but the quiet rumble was enough to make Jyla steady herself with one hand against the wall. The human boy, his name was Ryan, looked up from his tools and quickly stood beside her. "You okay?" he asked, his voice more natural than before. "Yes," she nodded, brushing her silver hair behind her ear. Just a minor shift in the ship's course. They were both in the maintenance bay again. Wires ran across the floor like roots, and open panels exposed the damaged systems. It wasn't easy work, but neither of them seemed to mind now. Something had changed between them after that first real talk. Jyla was smiling more, and Ryan wasn't hiding behind his data tablet anymore. They worked side by side, talking between tasks, sharing small things, what they ate on their home planets, how the stars looked through their windows, and the kind of music they liked. Even if the words were simple, the connection was growing. "Listened to your Earth music last night," Jyla said while connecting a circuit line. "The one you shared." "Oh, what did you think?" Ryan asked, tightening a bolt near the base. "Strange rhythm," she said, "but it made my fingers tap." "I think that's good." He laughed. "That's the goal. Tapping fingers means—" "You liked it?" "Then yes, I liked it." Jyla leaned back and stretched her arms. Her ridge glowed faintly for a second as she relaxed. Ryan glanced at it and smiled. He had never seen anything like it before. But now it didn't seem strange, just different. Like the silver trees and alien forests, or the 3 moons around Arvino. Suddenly, the comms crackled. "Maintenance bay report," came a voice from the command bridge. Ryan pressed the panel. "Bay here. No damage. Just a shake from the asteroids." "Understood. Stay alert." They looked at each other. Jyla spoke softly. "They sound nervous." "Maybe they know something we don't," Ryan said, frowning. ZHYLA tapped her wrist display and pulled up the ship's outer sensors. Her eyes narrowed. "There's a signal. Weak, but steady. Coming from one of the rocks." Ryan stepped beside her. "Is it natural?" "No. Shaped pattern. Repeating a distress signal, possibly. Or a trap." They both stared. At the screen, signal was faint, blinking like a heartbeat hidden inside a cave. The crew had strict orders: do not approach unknown signals in asteroid belts. Pirates and raiders often used old emergency beacons to lure ships close. But this one felt different. "Should we report it?" Ryan asked. CHYLA shook her head. "Not yet. Let's study the pattern first." They downloaded the data and sat together near a control station. The signal was repeating a set of tones. Jyla recognized a rhythm and old Arvinari code once used in ancient deep space colonies. "This is from my people," she whispered. "Very old, from before the Great Split." Ryan watched her face change.
"What does it say?"
"It says, safe harbor." They both grew quiet. Somewhere out there, hidden behind spinning rocks and cold silence, an old Arvinari station might still be active. Zalal looked at him. "I want to see it. You think they'll allow it?" "Probably." "Not," she said, "but what if it's real? Forgotten by time. A place that still waits." Ryan stood up. "Then we find it." Together they planned carefully. They wouldn't leave the main ship. Just use long-range scanners and probes. That way they didn't break rules but still explored the mystery. The next few hours were spent calibrating a small scout drone. Ryan handled the launch mechanics. Jyla handled the programming. When it was ready, they stood beside each other and watched it launch silently into the asteroid field. On the screen, the drone moved slowly through the dark maze of space. Rocks floated past like sleeping giants. The signal grew stronger, and then they saw it. Behind a wide asteroid half buried in ice was a structure made of Arvinari, crystal, and metal. The beacon blinked on its edge like a single eye still open after all these years. "It's real," Ryan whispered. "Says." Its voice shook. "It's older than anything still active. We thought they were all gone." The moment felt big. Bigger than just 2 workers in a repair ship. They had found a piece of history, one that could change what people knew about her kind. But the joy didn't last long. Alarms rang out from the main ship. Drone detected. Unauthorized launch The voice barked through the speaker. Report. To the bridge immediately. Ryan looked at Jyla. We're in trouble. She took a deep breath. Worth it. And they both smiled. The door to the bridge slid open with a hiss. Ryan and Jyla stepped inside, trying to look calm. The officers were already gathered. Eyes locked on the screen that now showed the old Arvanari structure floating in the asteroid field. Who launched? The drone, the commander asked firmly. Ryan spoke first. I did, with Jyla's help. The commander frowned. You knew that was against protocol. Yes, Jyla said. But the signal. It's ancient Arvanari code. A safe harbor. Beacon! My people believed all of them were destroyed long ago. Ah! One of the officers leaned forward. And yet this one still works. Hidden in the belt, another officer added. Could be a trap. Pirates have used fake beacons before. Not this one, Jyla said. I checked the signal. It uses a format no pirate would know. The commander stared at the screen again. The old station looked quiet, but something about it drew attention. It had a strange shape, like a half-moon folded inward, with crystal spires reaching out into space like frozen flames. Do you think it's still active? The commander asked. Maybe, Jyla said. We won't know unless we go closer. Room fell silent. Finally, the commander sighed. You disobeyed orders. There will be consequences, but the discovery might be worth it. We'll send a full survey team. You two will guide them. Ryan nodded. Understood. You'll leave in 6 hours. Prepare the shuttle and study the structure. If it's dangerous, we pull back immediately. Left the bridge feeling tense but excited. They returned to the maintenance bay to gather tools and gear. Ryan looked at Jyla while packing a scanner. I thought we were going to get kicked out. Me too, she said with a small laugh. But maybe they saw what I saw. That place is not just a structure, it's a memory. A piece of who we were. Ryan smiled. I get that. It's like finding a piece of Earth on another planet. They spent the next few hours preparing. They uploaded all available data about ancient Arvanari designs and checked the drone footage again. The station had one main entrance, half covered by rock and ice, but the beacon lights still blinked, calling out to anyone who could read it. As the shuttle launched, the crew inside remained quiet. 5 members, including Ryan and Jyla, sat strapped in. The pilot steered carefully between the floating asteroids. Each one looked harmless, but even a small piece could tear through a ship's hull if it hit at the wrong angle. HFY sat near a window, eyes fixed on the growing shape of the ancient station. I never thought I'd see one of these, she said softly. What were they used for? Ryan asked. Places of peace? During the Great Wars, they were used as shelters for refugees. They were built to hold hope when the galaxy was falling apart. Sounds important. They were. And now, maybe we've found one that still remembers that hope. As the shuttle approached the structure, the beacon pulsed brighter. A soft hum filled the air. The pilot slowed down and activated docking clamps. The entrance bay slowly opened with a creaking sound that echoed in space. Pressure stable, the pilot said. We're good to go. The crew stepped inside. The hallway was quiet, covered in dust and soft glowing moss. The walls were smooth crystal, warm to the touch. Ancient symbols ran across them, glowing faintly as the team passed. It's alive, Jyla said, not fully, but still breathing. They walked deeper into the station, lights flickering on as they moved. Every room told a story: empty beds, broken panels, faded flags of unity. Ryan touched a wall and felt a low vibration, like a heartbeat buried deep inside. Suddenly one of the doors opened by itself. Inside was a control room. A single chair stood in the center, surrounded by floating panels. As Jyla stepped forward, the lights turned on fully. A soft voice spoke in her language. Welcome, daughter of Arvanar. Everyone froze. Zilla stepped closer. This station, it recognizes me. Projection appeared above the chair, an old Arvanari elder with a calm face. If you hear this, it means you are still alive, the recording said. This place is safe. It was built to remember, not to fight. Let peace be your guide. The room fell silent. What does it mean? Ryan asked. It means this station survived the war, Jyla said. and it still remembers what piece. Looks like they explored further. The station had a garden room, still growing plants under soft lights. Storage rooms had preserved food. Even water systems were working. It was as if the station had waited quietly for someone to return. When they came back to the shuttle, the crew looked different. Less tense, more thoughtful. On the way back to the main ship, Ryan turned to Jyla. You said this place holds memories. You think it also holds answers? Maybe, she said. But more than that, it holds a beginning. Something we lost. Something we can share again. And in that moment, Ryan realized this mission wasn't just about machines or signals. It was about stories about people, lost and found, and two souls who were never meant to meet, learning how to understand each other through silence, words, and the deep pull of something old and beautiful waiting in the stars. The old Arvanari station was now connected to the human ship through a temporary bridge. Engineers and scientists moved between both structures, studying the ancient systems and collecting data. But for Ryan and Jyla, the station had become more than a mission. It was a quiet place where they felt something different, like time slowed down and the galaxy's noise faded away. Every evening after the others returned to the main ship, Jyla stayed behind in the garden room. The glowing plants gave off soft warmth, and the air was clean and fresh. She would sit on a bench of crystal stone and watch the small white flowers open slowly under the light. One evening, Ryan joined her. He didn't say anything at first, just sat beside her, resting his hands on his knees. The silence wasn't awkward anymore. It felt peaceful. You come here often, he said after a while. It reminds me of home, Jyla replied. The colors, the smell, it's like a piece of Arvanar still lives here. He looked around. It doesn't feel alien to me anymore. Just calm. She smiled. You've changed, Ryan. You think so? Yes. When we first met, you barely looked at me. Now you sit beside me in silence like it's the most natural thing. He chuckled. Well, back then I thought I'd mess everything up if I said something wrong. And now?
Ow.
Now I think maybe words aren't always needed.
I'll turn to him.
Her silver eyes soft.
You're learning.
Fast human. They both smiled, but their peaceful moment was interrupted by a sharp beep from Ryan's wrist device. They checked it and frowned. We need to get back to the bridge. The commander called for us. When they reached the bridge, the commander stood by the screen with other officers. A map of the asteroid field was displayed, and near the edge, a red marker blinked. We've got company, the commander said. An unknown vessel entered the belt. It's not broadcasting any code. Could be pirates, one officer said. Or scavengers, another added. ZHYLA stepped forward. Can we see the ship? The image changed to show a dark, long ship moving slowly through the rocks. It had no markings, no visible crew, and strange energy spikes coming from its sides. Ryan leaned closer. It's scanning the area. For something, the commander crossed his arms. Maybe it picked up the old beacon. Maybe it's coming for the station. Then we need to hide it, Jyla said. How? Ryan asked. The Arvanari use cloaking crystals. They were grown, not built. If the station still has them, we can activate the shield and hide it from outside sensors. The commander nodded. Do it. Take who you need and get it done fast. Jyla and Ryan rushed back to the station. They headed to the core chamber, a deep room filled with glowing walls and humming panels. Jyla searched the controls while Ryan used his scanner to trace power lines. Here, Jyla said, this section controls the cloaking crystals. But the power lines are weak, Ryan said. They won't hold if we just flip the switch. Then we boost them, she replied. They worked quickly. Ryan rerouted power from unused sections, while Jyla activated the ancient systems. As the last wire connected, a low hum filled the station. The crystals along the walls turned from blue to clear, and the outside windows showed the stars slowly. Fading? It's working, Ryan said. The station's invisible now. We still need to shut down the beacon, Jyla said. It's still calling. They ran to the beacon chamber. The old panel glowed softly, repeating its signal, again and again. Jyla placed her hand on the control. Are you sure? Ryan asked. Yes. It's time for it to sleep again. She pressed her hand down. The signal blinked one last time and then stopped. The room fell silent. Back on the ship, the commander watched the unknown vessel move slowly through the field, searching, but without the beacon and with the station hidden, it found nothing. After a few hours, the dark ship turned and left. The crew sighed in relief. That was close, Ryan said. Salah nodded. Too close. They returned to the garden room that night. The flowers still glowed, untouched by the fear outside. Ryan looked at her. You saved that station. We both did. Do you think it should stay hidden? For now, she said. The galaxy isn't ready for what it holds. He looked down at the small flower beside his boot. And what about us? Agila tilted her head. What do you mean? I mean, are we just part of this mission? Or something more? She didn't answer right away. Instead, she reached out and gently touched his hand. Let's find out, she whispered. And for the first time since they met, there was no confusion between them. No fear. Just a quiet understanding. Growing like the flowers in the old forgotten garden of a station that waited for someone to return. 2 weeks passed since the cloaking system was activated and the beacon shut down. The mysterious ship never returned. The old Arvinari station remained hidden deep within the asteroid field, protected by silence and shadows, but things on the main ship had started to shift. Word of the station spread among the crew. Some believed it was a miracle. Others feared it was dangerous. Officers argued over what should be done. Scientists wanted to study it. Engineers wanted to protect it. Nobody truly understood it. ZHYLA had become the voice of the station. She gave tours to selected crew, taught them about the crystals, and explained the old designs. People listened when she spoke. Even the commander often asked for her advice. And Ryan, he stayed close. They worked together every day, testing systems, fixing parts, and walking the long, quiet halls of the ancient station. But there was something new between them now, not just friendship or trust. Something deeper. Something unspoken, yet strong. One evening, as they sat in the garden room again, Ryan broke the silence. I think I understand why you love this place. Gila looked up from the glowing petals. Tell me, because it doesn't rush. It doesn't shout. It just waits. It listens. Sheila smiled. Yes. And in the silence, it remembers. They stayed there a while longer, until the lights dimmed to simulate night. Ryan stood up and stretched. I'm heading back. You coming? In a minute, she said. I want to stay a little longer. He nodded and left, leaving Gila alone. A few minutes passed. Then the soft hum of the station, changed ZHYL, stood quickly. The walls flickered. Her wrist panel beeped. A new signal was pulsing inside the station. She followed the sound to the lower level, where storage rooms had long been sealed. One door was slightly open, a light blinking from within. She stepped inside. The room was filled with pods old. Emergency cryopods. Most were empty. But one still glowed. Inside it was a shape. Curled. Breathing. Alive. Schleck gasped. It was an Arvinari child. Schleck's hands trembled as she activated the pod's interface. The system was old but still working. The display read, Life signs stable. Age, approximately 10 cycles. Cryostatus, 412 years. How is this possible? She whispered. She tapped her wrist panel and opened a private line. Ryan, come to level 3 storage. Now. Minutes later, Ryan arrived, panting from running. What's wrong? Look, she said. Stepping aside, he saw the pod. His eyes widened. Is that? An Arvinari child, Gila said. Frozen for 4 centuries. Why would they leave a child behind? Gila checked the logs. They didn't. The records showed this pod was sealed during the final days of the war. They were evacuating. There wasn't enough time. This pod was locked as a last hope. Can we wake them up? Ryan asked. CHYLA hesitated. Yes, but carefully. The body may survive, but the mind might be confused. Scared. We'll help, Ryan said. Whatever it takes. They carried the pod to the medical bay on the main ship. The crew gathered around, whispering. The commander was informed. Doctors ran checks and confirmed what Jyla had seen. The child was alive. They began the slow waking process. Hours passed. Then, the pod opened with a soft hiss. The child stirred. Eyes opened bright silver, just like Jyla's. The small figure looked around, blinking. Zedla stepped forward slowly. It's okay, she said gently. You're safe now. Oh. Looked at her. Are you Arvanari? Jyla knelt beside the pod. Yes, my name is Jyla. I come from Arvanar, just like you. The child's lips trembled. Where is my mother? Jyla paused. She left this pod to protect you. Would find you one day. Tears formed in the child's eyes. Zella pulled them gently into her arms. You are not alone anymore. Over the next few days, the ship changed. Crew members brought food, toys, and soft clothes for the child. The little one's name was Leia. She spoke slowly at first, afraid, but with time, she smiled again. CHYLA stayed by her side, teaching her new words and helping her adjust. Ryan helped too, showing her how to draw on the screen and telling her simple human stories. One night, after Leia fell asleep in the medical room, Shkila and Ryan sat outside in the corridor. She's strong, Ryan said. Yes, Jyla nodded. She has the heart of the old Arvanari. You're good with her. Remember what it was like to feel alone, Shyla said softly. I won't let her feel that way. Ryan leaned back. This mission started as a repair trip. Now we found a lost station, a hidden child, and something more. Sheila looked at him. Something more. Gila held his gaze. No, it's not just friendship. And there, in the quiet hallway, between blinking lights and the heartbeat of the ship, something unspoken passed between them, something real. Days turned into weeks, and the ancient Arvanari station became more than just a forgotten relic, became a symbol of survival, of hope, and of quiet strength. The crew, once divided between doubt and fear, now spoke with care and curiosity. Leia, the young Arvanari girl, became the heart of the mission. Every morning, Shtila brought her warm soup made from human ingredients and showed her how to use the small teaching pad. Ryan taught her earth games, simple ones that made her laugh. The sound of her laughter echoed through the halls like sunlight in a dark cave. Even the commander, once strict and cold, began to smile when Leia waved at him, but peace never lasted. Long in space, one afternoon, while Ryan and Jyla were checking the old station's life support system, a loud alarm echoed through their wrist devices. They rushed back to the main ship, where the bridge was alive with warning signals and flashing lights. Unknown vessels entering the belt, one officer said. Multiple, approaching fast. On the screen, a fleet of dark ships moved toward their position. They had no markings, no greetings, only weapons fully charged. Pirates, the commander said with a heavy voice. They must have traced the last signal before the beacon shut down. Can we outrun them? Ryan asked. Not likely. They're already in firing range. Sheila looked at the screen, her voice calm, but sharp. Hey, they don't want our ship. They want the station. What do we do? Ryan asked. She turned to him. We protect it. The crew moved quickly. They sealed the bridge to the station, sent Leia to a safe pod deep inside, and prepared shields. Well, their weapons were few. This wasn't a warship. They were explorers, builders not fighters. They'll break through, one officer said. Sola stepped forward. No, they won't. The station can help. How? The commander asked. CHYL. A single quote's voice was steady. The cloaking system also has a defense mode, not weapons, but energy bursts that can confuse and disable small ships. It was used long ago during evacuations. We never activated that, Ryan said. Because it needs 2 people to unlock it, one of our Venari blood. And one with a New World signature. You mean me? Ryan asked. ZHYLA nodded. Yes. Your human code. Together, we can do it. The commander gave a short nod. Then go. They ran back to the station, dodging vibrations from the first pirate shots that hit the outer shields. Inside the crystal hall, they reached the core chamber. Sheila placed her hand on one panel. Ryan placed his on the other. The system blinked. Defense mode ready, a voice said. Confirm Unity code. Jyla looked at Ryan. Say it with me. We protect what remembers. They spoke in unison. We protect what remembers. A soft hum began. The walls lit up. Deep pulses of energy charged the outer frame of the station. The pirates didn't see it coming. The first ship that got close spun wildly as its systems glitched. A third turned and fired wildly, missing everything. On the bridge, the crew watched in disbelief. The pirates were confused, disoriented, unable to aim. It's working, the commander whispered. Inside the station, Ryan and Jyla watched the waves of light spread. It wasn't violence, it was defense through disruption. The old Arvenar, way non-lethal, but strong. After an hour, the last pirate ship gave up and disappeared into the belt. The danger was over that night. The crew gathered in the old garden room. They sat together, human and Arvenar sharing food, stories, and calm after fear. Leia curled up beside Jyla, her eyes sleepy. Ryan brought a small pillow for her and tucked a blanket around her. She's safe now, he said softly. Zilla nodded. And so is the memory. They stepped outside the garden room, walking down the dim halls of the station. We did something. Big, Ryan said. Yes, but it wasn't just us. It was this place. It still believes in peace. They stopped near the window where stars shone beyond the glass. Ryan looked at her, his voice quiet. I think I came on this mission looking for repairs, but I found something else. What did you find? She asked. He turned toward her fully. I found someone who made the stars feel closer. Gyla's breath caught, not from fear, but from the warmth rising inside her chest. You used to avoid my eyes, she said with a small smile. Yeah, he laughed softly, and now? I can't stop looking. She reached for his hand and held it. You're not strange anymore, she whispered. No, you're just human. And I think I like that. They stood like that, holding hands, while stars drifted outside and the old station whispered its thanks through quiet walls and glowing crystals. In the heart of the galaxy, a human and an alien girl had found something rare, something that needed no translation, no explanation. They had found each other.